And we are live. We are live. Welcome to another episode of the Uncensored Entrepreneurs. Today we're going to be talking about mastering the mundane to increase revenue, which is really just getting really good at the boring stuff. So if you're looking to increase your business, become elite at doing things that no one else wants to do, you have to master the mundane and you will find yourself way ahead of the competition. So stay tuned and we'll see you on the inside. We will not see you on the inside.
What? Oh, okay. Hi, guys. A little bit of technical difficulties for you right there.
You know, we talk about this all the time. We're kind of at the mercy of technology. And
I thought the Mercury retrograde thing left a couple of weeks ago, but it has.
I thought it was me. I thought it was Mexico, but no, I think it's you now.
It's really wild. Yeah.
United States. Well, let me tell you, Robert and I are literally right now in a hurricane watch and warning.
Yes.
In our states. So,
tornado,
we all
right?
go off immediately. You know why? We went to go see Kansas and go see Dorothy.
I tell you, you know what? On a serious note, because we've had some crazy storms through here. So I know that the internet is kind of, been in and out. But in regards to tornadoes, I have family. I still have a lot of family, friends, and clients in Michigan. And so Michigan, and I know many other places, so not just there, but they've had some extreme tornadoes with lots of damage. So just a little shout out.
Stop messing with the weather.
For all those people going through that.
What's up with you?
Well, am I frozen?
No.
It's so interesting because I just had a friend that was in Dubai and they're having massive floodings, and they're in the middle of a desert, right? Yes. So they have been cloud seeding. And so what that means is you spray an aluminum something or other into the air and it makes it create clouds and rain. And now they have massive, massive flooding. And, we talk about weather warfare and weather manipulation. And people are like, that's conspiracy until it's not. And it's in government documents since World War.
What? Wait, what? I feel really stupid. You can create cloud and rain?
Yeah.
We don't even have time on today's episode to talk about that because you're right. It's an entire thing. Yeah.
Mind blown.
We will. I'll send you a video. Okay. We'll educate you. Maybe we'll educate our friends out there. We'll post a little video in the comments. But today we're talking about something really important. This is something that Robert and I were talking a little bit about it last week. And then I saw Alex Hermosi post, if you want to beat your competitors, start by doing the work none of them are willing to do, right? Because a lot of the times when we do business, we are, especially as entrepreneurs, we're multifaceted. And we're also what's the next idea? This isn't working. Let's do something else. And really, it's not about this, that, the other, keep going forward with all these different offers. It's about mastering one and continuing to evolve that offer and continuing to give people what they need in that time and doing the things that nobody really cares about, like customer retention emails and reaching out to your customers and making sure everybody is okay and actually truly listening. And, all these little things that people don't take the time to do because they're too focused on the sale that they don't do the other work that is necessary to build long-term sustainable business.
So true.
Say that, and I have that's what my second book was all about. That was my business before I started with the self-publishing and marketing is I was a client retention specialist, and I helped with the follow-up and sending birthday messages and sending follow-up messages and just building those relationships over time. No matter if they bought from you or not, you still want to continue those relationships because there's so many people that I've never even purchased anything from or purchased anything from me, but that we constantly refer people back and forth, like the both of you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I could, I'd like to relate this to kind of like the service business, just in general, and that really kind of applies to every type of business that you're involved in. But the service business, right? How many times have you called someone to come out and take a look at your roof, fix an appliance, whatever it may be? Definitely with plumbers and electricians. And I know here, at least in South Carolina, right, they're so busy that most of them won't even return a phone call. It's crazy. And so I always tell everyone, if you want to open a service business, all you really have to do is answer the phone and follow up. Like those are the two major things. And you're right, Christina, earlier you were talking about, we're so focused on the sale. So many people are so focused on the sale, then it's those little activities. And it's the routine of those activities, right? You mentioned Hermosi. That's one of the things he talks about a lot. Just mastering the mundane, continuously getting really, really good at the daily kind of task, the boring tasks, if you will. But if you do that consistently, not only will you have, the results from that, but you'll have something to measure. And that's typically when you're not mastering anything, then you have nothing to measure it against. And so you don't know how to pivot or tweak or change things along the way.
I'm sorry, I had to get a
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. I am concerned to see how much this lags when we're done because it seems a little weird, like in and out.
It is lagging.
Yeah. So we'll have to.
I am like full blown in menopause here.
Okay. So, all right. Well, actually, you know what? What a perfect segue, Tina. So I wanted to say from a man that would like to, and obviously I'm turning this mic over to the two of you, but really, I just want to give a little shout out to all the mothers out there. We've got Mother's Day right around the corner, and I thought a perfect way to kind of overlap just what mothers do on a regular basis and how it ties into mastering the mundane. Is it was one of the quotes that I found, just based on mastering the mundane. And it says, what you do in the dark shines in the light. And I think that is a perfect example of what so many mothers do out there on a daily basis, and fathers, right? I mean, I'm hands-on, but mostly,
hands-on, hands-on,
yeah. And we think of generationally, especially, right? It's the things that you do in the dark that really shine in the light. So anyways, happy Mother's Day.
I like that.
Yes. Have you guys ever heard of the pink flamingo theory? So if you notice pink flamingos, you'll notice that some of them aren't as pink as the other ones.
Correct.
Well, the ones that are not as pink are mothers. And when flamingos give birth or are mothers, some of their pink gets taken away from their body because it gets given to their kids.
The nutrients.
So, yeah. And it talks about how the pink flamingo theory is so many women get depleted from when they you have birth and just, Christina just gave birth a few months ago, but of what you give over and over again. I literally just did a TikTok and I went viral on TikTok when I did it. It's called the pink flamingo theory, and it's when mothers lose their pink. And so there's a whole movement. It's called Get Your Pink Back. And it's, when you just give everything, you do everything for your kids for so long, for 20, 25 years, and you just give everything to your kids. And so you lose a piece of yourself. So respect your mamas, for those of you who still have your moms in your life.
But remember, if it gives you any encouragement, what you do in the dark, ladies, shines in the light. So don't let that be a negative, all that energy that you put in. So happy Mother's Day to the two of you, all of our mothers and family members or anyone else that's out there. It is truly an honor each and every year. Of course, I celebrate, kind of Mother's Day every day because,
Let's ask Kelly. Kelly, does he celebrate?
Well,
she knows. She knows, and I'm very.
I was gonna say,
so I'll step up, and that's really kind of a part of, in my opinion, like those routines of your daily life. They really overlap personally, into business and business into your personal life. Just if you quit always keeping score and everything, I mean, that's important, right? It's important in business to keep your metrics. But overall, when I think of just like life and business, I always give the advice like, forget about the score right now. Let's focus on like an objective that's right in front of you and a daily task that allow you to get closer to your dreams, to make your dreams reality. And I think that has everything to do with mastering the mundane. So Christina, you brought up this topic, and I think it's a great topic. What are some points that you may have?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for reminding all the fathers that it's Mother's Day this weekend, right? So that was a good move. For sure.
There you go. You guys got a couple days left.
3 days. Today, Friday, and Saturday.
You still got time, okay? But you brought up this
Ryan.
and right text right. No, he knows. He brought me. Okay, Tina, you'll appreciate this because he brought me an early Mother's Day present. It's a fan because I've been like having hormonal hot flashes from like having a baby, right? So he's like, I just brought you this anyway. So he's ahead of the game. So I'm not talking about him, but thanks, buddy. But we're talking about mastering the mundane, and here's a very good example when it comes to raising children, right? There's so many times that I want to explain to Izzy when there's a little brat at school, or there's like a kid that she's like, Mom, they just don't understand how adults talk. Like they just don't understand these concepts because we talk to her like she's an adult, right? And I want to say it's a parenting, because what you do behind the scenes as a parent, how you raise your kids, the expectations that you have. Like sometimes she's mad at me because I call her on stuff, and I was like, "Don't behave that way. People are not going to like you if you behave that way."
You have she goes the next day, Mom, don't behave that way. People are not going to like you like that.
There's definitely been times that she's thrown it back, and she she'll be like, "Dad's the fun one, Mom's the bossy one," and I'm like,
Mom's
okay, that's
the baby hog.
Mom is the baby hog, but it's totally fine because I want to raise kids that are good and conscious. And this is like your business, right? What people see out here in your business, they don't see all of the quiet work that you do behind the scenes. So when you've got a beautiful kid that goes out that, looks people in the eye and shakes their hand when they meet them and introduce themselves, tells great stories, is personable, includes everything in the scenes to raise your kids. Yeah. And it's the exact same thing when it comes to business. If you have a business that nurtures people, a business that people refer, people that feel taken care of when they work with you, they're going to continue to work with you. But like all of those things take time and energy to put into place. And Robert and I talked about this a little bit last week, is that like, I really believe the people that go on to make millions in their business are the ones that focus on the behind the scenes, on everything that they can do behind the scenes to make it happen. And it is mundane, and it is like eye-stabbingly boring. It is the things that you really just do not want to do, and it takes so much time and energy. But once you have them set up, you are a step above everybody else. And that's why it's the people that take 2 steps back and slowly build that behind the scenes. Those are the ones that you see catapult, and then you're sitting there wondering, what did they do differently? How come I can't keep up to them? Well, it's because they took the time in silence behind the scenes to do the work that most people won't do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it doesn't mean that mundane, like when you think of it, like mastering the mundane, mastering the boring things over and over, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're hands-on all the time, right? Initially you may be, but mastering the mundane kind of takes it to that whole other level, meaning, and we talked about it last week, in regards to your daily schedule, planning things based on a financial activity versus something that you can outsource, right? That's still mastering the mundane. If you can take a task in your daily routine and you can actually hire someone else to actually cover that for you, then you've mastered it.
I like that a lot. And the other things is it's usually the little things that you do daily. People think that people that go out and have massive success is because it's massive action, but it's actually the mundane little habits that you do every single day. Teaching people in network marketing for years, they're like, well, how do you build a big business? You talk to 5 people or 10 people a day. You start 10 new conversations a day. You follow up with 10 people a day. It's not 150 people, 300 people a day, because you burn out, right? Like it'd be
I'm laughing at it, and Tina, I know you probably hear this a lot, especially in regards to clients that are looking to, write their first book or launch their first book, and they're like, okay, how many words, how many pages, blah blah blah, right? And I'm going to kind of put it in that context that it's the same way with any client that we get in regards to sales. They're immediately focused on how much of this do I need to get this, right?
Yes,
like I want, to make my first $1 million. And I'm always saying, you know what? And using that context, Tina, like write your first sentence,
right?
Write your first
How
paragraph.
about we get your outline together first?
Yeah, exactly, right. It's like focusing on the little things first, because if you can master that, then you can duplicate that.
Yeah.
And and it's amazing. And I'm the same way. I get, many times in life, I've kind of fallen into that trap where it's like you're just thinking. Of course, it's nice to know what the end in mind is. You need to know what your ultimate goal is.
Yeah.
But you have to start somewhere. And as you said, Christina, it's those daily tasks. It's the little things. It's the things that are boring sometimes that allow you to kind of unleash all of this.
And some of those boring tasks, like one of the things that I absolutely hate, I love to create content. Like I take 2 or 3 days every month and I create my content for the following month. And, emails, everything, like the whole thing. I love to create content. One of the things I hate doing is all the techie stuff in the background, like the funnel building. I want to say, no, I don't like that. I like this. I like this. But I don't know how to do that, but put that there and put this here. And I don't like to do all the techie stuff in the funnel building. I hate doing that.
I think that's a really good example, Tina. Like, don't you think that people often, like, I know, for example, that people come to me and they're like, content creation. How do I create content? You and I both love creating content, so it comes easy to us, right? But we've also been doing, how many years? I've been doing it for 8 years every single day. Like, it takes 10,000 hours to master content, to master something, right? So, like, you have to continue down the path of like, oh, this worked, this didn't, this worked, this didn't. And I just had somebody today be like, yeah, I just don't think this business is going to work for me. I'm like, you've been here less than 30 days. Like, you haven't done anything to move the needle forward. Like, how are you comparing what your life could look like on the other side? You're comparing yourself to me 8 years in, and that's not fair. And what it comes down to is raising your standards, right? Creating better habits. Because in the beginning, what do people do? They scroll through Facebook for 6 hours and they're like, I worked all day. I worked all day. Right?
Yeah.
Well, and that's the busy work, right? But sometimes you need that busy work, not scrolling through Facebook for 6 hours. But the busy work to me is like following up with people, sending people cards and gifts, and that, I mean, that's my love language. So I love doing that too. But just to remember to do that.
That's right.
People cards and gifts for their birthday, anniversary, whatever it is. Giving people a call, like I'll be on the treadmill or walking. I'll be like, oh shoot, I haven't talked to that person in a long time. I made
exactly
something, So it's those little tiny things. So okay, so what do you guys do? What are 2 or 3 things that you guys do every single day to move the needle forward?
I'll just mention one immediately, and then Christina jump in. But I will tell you one that I am absolutely, I will not deviate from it. I used to, and it's my scheduling, my planning, right? It's because I'll admit, between my self-scheduling things on a paper calendar, meeting people like on the fly and shaking their hand and looking at my calendar and saying, yeah, I'll pencil, look, I got a little gap here. But then also having a VA, and then also having automation and a calendar where people actually come on to your landing pages and they schedule into your calendar.
Right, and then everybody's putting it in at the same time.
Crazy, right, exactly. And so because of that, because of the fact that so many times I've made a commitment and then I look and now it's already booked by the time I write it in, then I've learned now, especially in this last month, to really take a hard look at that and make sure that my stuff is not line on line. Really giving myself the time to serve the people that I'm speaking to. It's awesome to be on 20 calls a day, but if you can't take you
Oh,
know,
but
those
it's
20
exhausting.
calls and convert them into something, you know, in a positive light, the way that you're serving the people that you're speaking to, then it's just 20 phone calls. And I'm
But
Yeah.
finding
even
the
those
same
20
thing
phone
with
calls,
notes.
Robert, they're exhausting. After you get done speaking to
Yes.
20 different people, and
Yes.
those coaches who, you know, do online coaching and stuff like that, you have to, and even shows like this, you have to put so much energy for you guys to see what
Exactly.
we're feeling, what we're talking about, and everything like that. And you get off there a half hour call, and you're like,
That's it. No, that is absolutely. So that's one. My journal, my calendar, and then in combination with that, my journaling, and that even means client notes.
yeah.
Continuously fine tuning that. And someone just reminded me the other day, and so that's why I continue to adopt that. And it's, if you spend all day long scribing and writing, just writing with no action, then all you are is a scribe. So think about it that way, like meaning that there has to be like true intention behind your notes and your
Yeah.
writing. Are you going to review that later? Put that into your calendar. Are you going to take action on X, Y, Z? Put
Yeah.
that into your calendar and your tasks. So
Yeah.
anyway, those are my two things. Hands on. I mean, that's it.
Mine are definitely my calendar. If it's not in my calendar, it's not going to happen. And Robert, I'm the same way with you. I love my paper calendar, but everything gets on. I take my phone everywhere. Like even
Yes.
Tony just like, he's like, because we are on this 10,000 steps a day challenge thing.
Oh
and
yeah.
like, leave your phone at home, because I'll be walking going,
Yeah. Keep it in your pocket. Yeah. No,
like when we're walking, like my VA is up and she goes, I need a email for approval. I need this. I'm like, but I gotta still work. He goes, no, this is our walking time. I'm like, so everything goes into my phone, but I also like to see it out there so I can just kind of look and be like, oh, I have a gap there, or I have a gap here.
Yes.
So definitely calendar. And Robert, I'm with you. My gratitude and doing my devotions with Tony every morning is something I have to do.
I love that.
I feel like I know it's not moving the needle forward, but it's moving me forward.
Yeah.
Me forward. And
absolutely. I'm going to circle right back around to that after. Christina, what are some things that you do?
Well, I do things a little bit differently than you guys. I obviously have a schedule, and in my schedule, I only have the things that I have to do. Like this is scheduled in, my 6-figure profit plan is scheduled in, like only the absolute necessity is in my schedule. But I have, over the last few years, developed a flow with business. And especially I had to develop this with kids, like with young kids and now with a baby. Yeah. So I basically, and people are going to think I'm crazy for this, I kind of work in this flow state throughout the day and until I go to bed at night and however it flows. So right now I always do gratitude, and I used to sit down and do my 10 gratitudes in the morning and goal set and all that kind of stuff. Now I have an updated habit of I give gratitude throughout the day. Like I just am a grateful person in everything that I do. And I'm like, wow, grateful for this dinner, grateful Ryan brings me coffee in bed in the morning, grateful that I, get to sit here and cuddle my baby. And like, I make those like mental check notes every time. And then obviously I have a DMO like you guys, right? That I never go a day without personal development, whether that happens at 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. I never go a day without creating content. I never go a day without connecting with people. And I never go a day without starting new conversations. I never go a day without those, so wherever that happens.
Conversation, connection. What else did you say? Calendar.
And content, right?
Love that.
And then when I go to bed at night, I reflect on my day and I'm like, okay, what could I have done better? Like when I go to fall asleep at night, what I'm thinking of is what could have gone better today? What could I have accomplished today that I didn't? What clarity. Conversation? Yeah, that clarity. Exactly. Look at, I got all these C's.
I had to cover it out for you. Close it out.
Right?
Today's episode is brought to you by Christina Whiteley and the 5 C's.
Yeah, the 5 C's.
I'm writing that shit down, by the way.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Content, clarity, connection.
Conversations.
Yeah. We'll fine tune it for another episode.
Yeah.
I will say, Christina, I love that you mentioned flow, because you and I've had some conversations about that. There needs to be some structure to your day. And then I know people, and I've done the same. I was even coached by another coach to do this, and it worked horribly for me, right? You cannot structure your entire life every single day without some little gap of just leaving it open to be fluid, right? You need a little bit of that for a lot of reasons.
He's gonna love you, Robert, because he's like, stop scheduling so much.
Oh,
Don't
well, I schedule like
let it
crazy.
flow, baby. Let it flow.
You
Everybody,
need two
no,
times throughout your day.
at 2:15.
Yes, you need some times without your, throughout your day, and even if you have to write it in, just put fluid. And I love this one thing that I'm working on right now. I told Christina I'm bringing in some new technology, some digital notepads, so that I can actually write things out and have it captured and kind of streamline some things I'm doing.
What is it? A remarkable tablet?
Yeah, it's even better than that. But I was going to go with Remarkable, and
I have a remarkable tablet
with another
that I
one.
rarely use.
We're going to talk more about that too. But here's the thing, right? The concept is they talk about morning pages. If you've seen it, just Google it. You'll see a lot of things about it. And that really helps with that flow, meaning every morning or afternoon, whenever I want to kind of unplug, I'm just going to jot down, excuse my French, a bunch of shit, right? I'm just going to dump everything out of my brain.
I just put a bunch of shit on my paper.
Yeah, you can even write that. You can draw it. You can do whatever you want to do. Exactly.
I put a bunch of shit.
Yeah, but my point in that is that's that fluid state, right? By getting it off of your brain, all the other things actually happen in a much more structured, taskful way. So you just get it out there. Morning pages, you can do it also at lunch, whatever kind of makes sense for you. But it's really kind of unleashing and dumping things. And in many cases, you don't even need to go back to it. It's not necessarily something that you want to carry forward, but maybe something from that fluid state where you're writing things out. You're like, that's a great task. I'm going to move that now into my task or my calendar. So anyways, but the thing I wanted to circle back around to, and I know we're going to cut this episode a little short today, but I wanted to mention, Tina, when you were talking about one things that you have to do, it's your gratitude, and it's your time of prayer and worship with Tony. And I thought mindset should be before or just as important, but mindset in line with medication. And so the reason why
medication or meditation?
Medication. So the reason why I'm saying this is
this episode is brought to you by Prozac.
Yeah. Everyone thinks that the first thing, like the most important thing today, is lining up their medication, whatever, right? So if you think of routine, one thing that people say they do not, break from is I need to take X, Y, Z, especially of course when you get older, right? My supplements, whatever it may be. And mindset should be just as important. Mindset should be prescribed.
Yes.
So just think of it in that context, that every single day you're spending the time to write out some of the things that you're thankful for, areas where you think that you may have a gap, the SWOT analysis, whatever it may be.
I just feel like when we start our day like that, and that's just something that him and I have done since we first got together. We just celebrated our 1-year anniversary, but we've been doing our morning devotions together. And in fact, he wouldn't care. He just got baptized on Sunday.
Oh, that's right. I saw that. Congratulations.
He was so excited.
That's right. Awesome.
He gave himself to Christ when, he was Catholic, and so he was baptized Catholic, but he wanted to give himself to Christ as an adult, fully give himself to Christ. So we decided last year when we first got together that that's how we were going to start every morning. So he would wake up, we would, we'd sleep on FaceTime together because we, had a long distance relationship. So we did our devotions. I would read it, and then we would read our Bible and do our devotions. But it just started our day out right. And every single time, if we missed it, he would have a bad day or I would have a bad day, and it would just keep on going, right? So when it happens, you get up, you stub your toe, you're like, and you're like, and then you get up and get your coffee and you spill your coffee, and then you're like, and then you do this, and it just gets worse and worse and worse throughout the day, right? Instead of trying to stop it after you stub your toe.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Start our day that way.
Absolutely. And again, that's why, that mindset medication kind of thing. Someone told me, if you are taking a certain medication and you don't take it that day, then you absolutely are drained. You don't feel right. You feel off. Yeah. Checking in with yourself should be just as important. Like you're, kind of cueing in and aligning your mindset should be just as important as that.
Yeah.
So as we're kind of just doing a little round robin, one thing that I'll just close out with as kind of a recap: mastering the mundane is just those daily tasks we're talking about, whether it's in a calendar, a checklist, those things that absolutely ground you, and then the things that you have to get done today, and then of course those to whom you want to serve, right? I mean, that's the biggest outcome, and then everything else becomes very very aligned. So that's mastering the mundane.
Is very key, but it's also something that a lot of people put off. It's
Oh
also
yes,
that a lot of people don't do.
Yes.
It's also people that a lot of people don't like to, don't like. Following up, even like I said, even if they're not selling or you're not selling to them, following up with them. Hey, how you doing? How's this going? How's your husband or how's your wife or whatever? And just following up and keeping them your name top of mind all the time.
I'm laughing because so I'm working on a certain project right now. It's all going to feed into coaching in the end, but it's just for realtors. It's a certain package that I'm putting together. And in interviewing 10 realtors, 7 out of 10 said that their gap was their CRM. I mean, that's just a realtor. And think about how hands-on they are.
My target audience was realtors back in the day when I was doing my follow-up. That's why my clientele was all real estate agents.
Yeah, it's amazing. And you'll probably see that across most businesses, quite frankly.
And isn't that's a great example, because how often do people buy houses, right? Like you might be selling a product or a service that you could sell multiple of, right? But like how often really do people buy houses? And why they follow up is not for the sale, it's for the referral. It's for the referral, right? To be top of mind for that.
All the time that. And even like I used to send birthday cards and Christmas cards and 4 cards a year, like a 4th of July card with a recipe. Because what are you going to do? You're going to put that recipe on your refrigerator. Your people are going to come over and be like, oh my God, what recipe is that? And who is this? Oh, that's my real estate agent. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, I was looking for a real estate agent the other day. Boom, there goes your referral.
Right.
I mean, it's compound, and you don't have to work so hard to get another client in 2 to 3 years when you are selling or buying a house. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we say content is king, and that's true, but your CRM, actually having some type of platform, even if it was right back down to the old, I write everything down. Like, you have to have a source to be able to contact people on a regular basis and to follow up, of course. So what's another little thing you guys would like to close out with?
I think Christina is frozen.
I can hear you
so intently that I was like, man,
I know. I was thinking, I'm like, damn, is she
focused right now?
She's like,
I can hear you.
What do you, boy, we're having fun with technology. What do you got, Christina?
I was going to say, hire somebody to master the mundane. Hire somebody to do the mundane stuff that you don't want to do, so it actually gets done.
Yes.
That's it. Oh, that is it. If you can't do it, somebody can.
And this is really not Christina Whiteley. It's her AI person. She's really not here, which is why she's glitching. No.
Oh my God.
Wow.
You're still, well, at least you're paused in a in a good way, Christina.
It is. This is classic. You're kind of kind of magazine cover-ish going
really
on right
is.
now. That's pretty good.
You're welcome.
That's pretty good.
She has RBF face that it's not really an RBF, but it's like a power pose. But it's like,
I like
RBF too. And you're like, I don't have an RBF. I have like, I can't.
So it's again, when I opened up, right, I took kind of that little clip of, if you're looking to increase your business, become elite at doing the things that no one else wants to do. And again, as you just said, Christina, it doesn't have to be necessarily hands-on. You performing them, it can be done through a staff member. It can be done kind of, through just your team, a virtual assistant, whatever it may be. So
I like it. I like it a lot, you guys. This is a good one.
All right, so we will expand. We're sorry that we started late. We had technical problems and all kinds of things kind of happening. We'll see you out, Christina. We know you're still smiling on the other side of that frozen screen. And
we see you guys next Thursday with Star God. She is out today, but she'll be back next week.
Right, and so Star, happy Mother's Day to you as well.
Yes.
We missed you on the show today. But everyone take care. Have an awesome weekend, and happy Mother's Day.
Bye, guys.
Bye.